Welcome back, everybody, to the documentary movie screening of What About Us. This is a movie about women that have opened themselves up to the world, not only within Canada, but globally, sharing their stories of what they have been through and their journey of healing. This is what I can say is this is something that is remarkable, and we are all looking forward to seeing what is inside this detail. And I have one of the cast members here with me tonight. How are you doing, and what's your name?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Anita Sarda.
Hi, Anita. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Perfect. Have you seen any part of the movie at all?
We have not. We have not been able to see any of it, so it's we're really excited to actually see it today, the premiere, and we know what our portion was, but we haven't actually seen how they're going to craft it into a way that opens up the discussion again.
That is wonderful. The process of, making this movie, you opening up, how did you feel?
It was really difficult. It was really difficult. About a year ago when I was asked, I thought, I've made some really different decisions through my life from some of the experiences that I've had, and some you'll see in the movie. And I've really decided that it was time to help other people and share my story as much as I could. But it takes a lot of healing to be able to do that. But the point is just to help other people realize that you can make different decisions at any point in your life.
Oh my God, that is wonderful. I was just telling her as well that as women, we're always expected to be strong. And from your background, because one thing I love about Canada is, we're mixed. I come in here myself as an African. It's like a mind-blowing experience for me to come across so many backgrounds, so many cultures. Now, to dive into this particular kind of conversation, in your background, is it common for women to have this kind of conversation?
Absolutely not. So I'm East Indian, and I was born and raised here. And even so, I was so tied to my culture that the notion of sharing what would happen to me or what's happened to me would be completely unheard of. You just don't talk about it, and you're supposed to hold tight. And it's not to necessarily say I didn't believe that I wouldn't be believed. It was really, I didn't want anybody to feel shame. I didn't want my family to feel shamed. I didn't want anyone else to worry about it. And that's sort of the cultural part of, I think, a lot of ethnicities, is that we feel bound. And not necessarily, it's not always the case, but it's not always that someone else will bind us. We think people. It's what our own perception is. And in my perception, I believed that it would be embarrassing. I believed that family would lose face. I would believe that it would be an embarrassment in the community. And so for that reason, I didn't want to share it. But didn't mean that I wouldn't be believed. I just didn't feel at the time in my incidences that it would be appropriate to share and embarrass anybody.
That, you know what? After this movie, after the making of this movie, let me put it that way, do you intend to continue in this conversation, enlightening more women, be it the younger ones or the older ones, to, at least help them in their healing process, or those that are actually going through things like this? Just continue in this conversation and re-education of women in this.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that women in particular, and especially in ethnicities, women in general have a really great instinct. We just naturally do. We're born with it. I look at my daughter who's a teen, and I see her trust her instinct. And I think one of the problems is that when you're part of an ethnic bind, a family, you learn to subdue your instinct. And what I want people and young women to do is learn to trust their instinct. That when things don't feel right, you have to speak up. You have to talk about it, because the strength to do that takes courage and it takes bravery. But if I can teach my daughter to do that, then I know that I can teach others. And so absolutely, I want to keep the conversation going. It's one of the reasons for participating in this, is that we can keep the conversation going.
That is wonderful. And you know what? You're a remarkable woman for sharing this with the world, and most especially me, because I just find all of you remarkable for doing this, for, just taking that step that, you know what, this is us and this is about us. And all about it. It is about us. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Thank you so much. All right, have a good evening. You know what? That was Anita. This is a wonderful experience. Just being here and being in this room makes a whole lot of difference. Makes a whole lot of difference. This movie, once again, is titled "What About Us." This movie was directed by Beverly Virgil, executive producer. I mean, the executive producer is here as well. Hopefully, we'll get a moment to speak with him. And Shelley Jarrett is the producer of this particular movie. And for every ticket sold here tonight, a particular percentage will be donated to WCH, and that is the Women's College Hospital. This is to support women in this movement, in this conversation, to ensure that this conversation, women like this continue to come out, speak about this. We continue to speak about this. We continue to encourage women to speak about this, and we continue to encourage women to heal from any of this kind of journey that they have been through or are going through. Once again, my name is Olakemi Sophia Oladuran with MyTime TV Canada. We're still here. There's a lot of activities going here. The movie premiere is going to start in Welcome everybody to the documentary premiere of What About Us. You can, as everybody can see right now, the activities have started. And I have one of the guests here with me tonight. Hi, how you doing? What's your name?
Randy.
Wendy?
Randy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, Randy.
Hi.
How you doing? That's perfect. And are you representing a particular organization here?
Yeah, so I'm from Women's College Hospital Foundation, and this wonderful event is supporting us today. Yeah.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. And we are super excited to be here as well. So are you looking forward to seeing the documentary?
I am definitely looking forward to seeing it. I heard all about it. It seems like a wonderful initiative, and it's an important cause. So, yeah, I'm very happy.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Randy.
Good
evening, everybody. My name is Sophia Oladuran, and I am with MyTime TV Canada. Super excited to be here today for the documentary premiere of What About Us. And I have one of our beautiful guests here tonight. Your name, please? I'm Laura Abowt. Laura, nice to meet you. Are you one of the cast? You're one of the cast? Oh my God, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm like, I need to get one of the cast here tonight. Perfect. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Have you had any opportunity to see the movie at all?
Nothing.
So
Part is making me nervous.
So definitely you're as anxious as I am to at least see what's the outcome, right?
Well, to be on the big screen is going to be a pretty big shock.
Definitely, I can imagine. And you shared your story here as well.
Yes, I did.
That is wonderful. You know what? I have to commend you because being able to share your story with women as myself, it's very encouraging for me. It lets me know that this conversation, I want to be part of it, and I want it to keep going on. So from here, do you intend on continuing with this conversation?
I've been doing this conversation for a very long time, and I've written a book. I've got 4 books out, actually, and I've had many numerous interviews. And this morning I had an amazing email. I've been nominated for the Waterfront Awards. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And it's for a cause on abuse. So I'm super excited about that. I was extremely honored, and I'm so excited, and I can't wait to be a part of that as well.
That is wonderful. It's really, I'm just excited to have you here on my red carpet, and even more so excited that you were part of this project and sharing your story with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Have a good evening. That was Laura. She is one of the contributors and cast in this documentary here tonight. Once again, the name of this documentary movie is What About Us. It's produced by Sherland House of Films and SMJ Magazines, and the director of this particular movie is Beverly. We're still gonna have so much more of the cast coming in, and there's a lot of people here, and I'm gonna have one of the guests here on the red carpet here with me. Hi, how you doing? Do you need a minute? Because I think you're chewing something. Hi, my name is Olakemi, and may I know your name, please?
My name is Iwahemi.
Oh, that's one of it. Kind of sounds alike, right? I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you one of the cast of the movie?
I am. Yes, I am one of the cast members of the What About Us movie.
That's wonderful. Have you seen like half of the movie or even part of the movie at all?
I've only seen the trailer.
The trailer? So, are you excited to see the full movie tonight?
Definitely excited about seeing the full movie tonight. It'll be my first time. I'm very excited about it, and I'm just thrilled of being a part of the film crew.
That's wonderful. You shared your story. That process, how did you feel about
I felt very, very vulnerable because I was talking about healing from sexual assault, and I was lucky to have many family members who knew traditional ways to help me heal, and so I had written a book called Recover, Rebuild, and Reclaim Self, so that it just helped me be able to decipher and communicate my journey.
That is wonderful. Myself as a woman, I mean, this kind of movie has given me the opportunity, to want to join in this conversation, because coming from the kind of background that I come from, I'm African. It's more of like a tight-lipped kind of thing, that if you're going through that, it's just one of those things. But being here in Canada has actually helped my understanding that these are kind of the things that we need to keep talking about. So what message do you have for like the younger women out there that are probably going through this or have gone through this?
My message to young women is to become within yourself, at peace, accept yourself for who you are, and be able to rise above the challenge that you've experienced, to heal yourself and utilize nature and our traditional ceremonies to overcome that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to seeing the movie. Have a good evening. That was one of the cast of the movie here, and I have another cast here with me tonight. This is so exciting. Hi, how you doing?
I love hugs.
Oh, okay, I'm a hugger too. What's your name?
Leanne.
Leanne, and you are also one of the cast of the movie. I understand. That is wonderful. It's really nice to meet you.
Good. It's so nice to meet you. And although I'm a cast member, I'm also afraid of the camera.
It's okay. It's okay. I get nervous too. If you touch my forehead, it's like all sweating right now. But coming to this movie, the process of you opening up yourself to engage in this, how did it feel?
Oh, there's such a gambit of emotions. First of all, I mean, I'm West Indian born, so I was born in Canada, but West Indian raised, and our family is a very private family. So to open myself up to share what is going on or what was going on makes it just a little more daunting. So I guess one of the emotions was straight out fear, and being terrified. And then once I started to share, I started to feel like everything lightening, my feelings, my emotions started to raise, and although you're still telling your story and you know exactly what's going on and your feelings are lessening, you're still heightened in the fact that, this is real. All of this happened and it's horrible, and you have to become a phoenix and rise above. And that's what sharing the story gave me the ability to realize that I'm in a healing process continually, like everyone, but I'm in a different stage of my healing process, and I'm grateful for God and my supportive family. So, yeah.
That is just wonderful. Seeing women as yourself actually opening up, because as my last guest, exactly, she said it made her vulnerable, which I totally understand, because you become an open book. You understand that particular part of your life and the journey to healing. You become totally vulnerable. Would you say that is correct?
Sorry. The journey to healing is unreal. It just, where do you start? You are vulnerable, and as you're going through those emotions, one moment you're great, one moment you look like you're great, but inside everything is torn up, just ripped to shreds. And there's so many times where even on camera you look like you're fine and you're sharing your story, but you're not. You're not inside. And it's the same thing that happens when you're in that situation. For me, it was at work, and a lot of things are going on, and you're sharing what's happening, and you're torn inside, but you still have to stand strong and make it look like you're going to handle this. And that's what really freaks you out. And you just take it moment by moment, step by step, and breath by breath, deep breaths.
That is absolutely remarkable, because I know as women, we're always expected to be strong.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Always
goodness.
expected to be strong no matter what. But for these kinds of things, it takes a lot. It takes a lot. Like I was telling her that even coming from my background as an African, this kind of conversations, we don't have it really. Exactly. It's always tight-lipped because that's just the way it is. Now, coming to Canada has opened me up to realize that this conversation, we should have it. We should continue to have it. And like Shelley mentioned, like re-educating. So do you intend to continue with this conversation and re-education?
Absolutely. So my background is corporate Canada, and I was working in an all men dominated field in computer science. So there's the SEM, and I always talk about it with, STEM, STEM, talking about it with young ladies. Don't give up your math. Don't give up your science. It doesn't matter that men are there. Your brain is for you to use. You're just as good, sometimes even better. And it is definitely a lifelong learning, but to be strong doesn't mean that sometimes a tear will fall. And I am a strong and avid believer that tears heal. So sometimes when those tears cry, you need to let them cry so you can wash out the toxin and make room for that which is great. So I will continue to share this. My cousin has kids, and I share this with them every day. I don't even call them kids. I call them the blessings. Yes, they are blessings.
Yes, they are. I'm super excited, and I'm looking forward to seeing this documentary and especially listening to your story. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Olakemi Sophia Oladiran, and I am with MyTime TV Canada. Super excited to be here tonight, and it's for the documentary premiere of What About Us. I have this really lovely lady right here with me. Your name, please.
Melissa Hood.
Hi, Melissa. How are you? Are you one of the cast here tonight?
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. That is wonderful. The journey of sharing your story, how did it feel?
I'm speechless. So for the first time, I will get to see the finished product, and don't know what that's going to look like, but the purpose here is to input safety mechanisms in place. So I'm the founder of CAPE, which stands for Children and Parents Empowerment, and it's to build an advocacy building for parents and children to navigate through the education system and to inform us about our rights. When we look at the system that is built, we're trying to eradicate violence and abuse in our homes. And if parents are not informed, and one of them starts with the education system, how can parents empower themselves to be active and involved with their children? So when parents are informed, they get more involved and they partake in their children's lives, and they're not left to the system. So they have this system called the school to prison pipeline system, where kids are being pushed into and they're targeted into the prison line to continue this generational cycle of violence, of gun violence, sex trade, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we can look at it. So the journey with this documentary is to make parents and children and caregivers aware that I have a petition going, and I have collected 535 signatures to date. And
Really wonderful.
and I want people to support it, because if we had a place, a home away from home, that's what CAPE is. There's no place like home. we could have stopped many of these barriers at home, like myself, because a lot of the abuse has started from home. And if I had a safe place to go to, I would have been free. I would have been comfortable enough to depend and get away from that situation. But then you have to look at the other systems that are put in place, like CAS. So, you know, the education system used CAS against parents, and I'm trying to build and mold better bridges within the education system to help parents and children build trust. We need to rebuild our trust, and this is just giving me a platform to inform parents about CAPE.
That is wonderful. I'm going to give you the opportunity to share at least the information about CAPE, where people can, you know, maybe call, or maybe if there's any social media platform that they can reach this organization in. You mentioned something about trust, because that's one of the things I've heard about from the ladies that have featured in this documentary tonight, that when they were going through this, what went through their mind is, would they believe me? Am I correct? That would they believe me? So which means they actually doubted in their mind that would anybody trust them enough to believe them if they shared what they were going through. Do you think that is still a major problem right now?
In my experience, I can only speak from my experience. Me speaking out wasn't about trust. It was about fear. It was about what would have happened if I had to said something. I was already being treated like an animal. So if I continue to say, if I even said anything, not even continue, if I even said anything, it's like I knew in my heart nothing would have been done, because I'm being raised in a family that from the moment I was born was targeted. And then let's keep things classy, right? So trust is a huge thing, but also loyalty too. So once trust is broke and loyalty is broke, you know, there's nothing there. And it's really hard. People, I think that we try to find the benefit of the doubt within our abusers, and thinking that they're not like the previous abuser. I had multiple abusers, so I can only speak on my things, my perspective. So let's talk about CAPE, girl.
No problem. CAPE, if anybody wanted to reach out to your organization, how can they reach you?
Well, my organization's in the making. It's in, you know, still building it. But they can follow me on Instagram, Miss Cape, ms._, c.a.p.e. I also have, you know, a Facebook page, Children and Parents Empowerment. I do have an petition linked in my bio on my Instagram page. And if they want to email me, they can email me at children's and parents empowerment @gmail.com.
That is absolutely wonderful. So this organization is definitely going to aid in ensuring women have a safe place.
Women and children, and even men. So men go through abuse as well, right? So we're trying to systematically put something in place to bring a solution to the table for educators, parents, and teachers to build trust again.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate you being here on the red carpet, and I'm looking forward to seeing this documentary. Thank you. Lovely, beautiful lady here on my red carpet tonight. Your name?
Hi, my name is Rachel Cruz.
Hi, Rachel Cruz, and you are one of the cast members tonight?
Yes, I am.
That is wonderful. Making up this movie, you sharing your story, how do you feel opening up about this?
Interesting enough, when I do TV reporting, I'm usually the press professional, right? So this is very different for me because I feel like I'm on the other side of the camera. And it's put in a very vulnerable state, sharing my story. But I agreed to do it because it's a important story to tell. Specifically that has, after I completed the story in my paper, I got a lot of feedback from people in my community saying, hey, it happened to me, I wish I said something. Hey, it happened to me, I wish we could do something. So my story doesn't end there. It's important for me to start my Filipino Speak Out campaign, which encourages women in my community to speak out, to talk about it, to have those discussions. It's important. And this is exactly why I am writing this documentary, because we couldn't even find a Filipino woman to speak out until the last minute. They were already in the middle of post-production, and they came across my story and they said they were part of it. I'm sure it was a no-brainer to be doing this. So I feel privileged and a little bit nervous. Like I said, I'm always usually the one asking questions,
But now you're on the
but I'm on the other side. And in fact, I have not even seen the final cut. I don't know what I look like. I don't know what it looks like.
that was the next question also. I wanted to ask you that. Have you seen any
No, this is completely like basically Charlie and Aaron from the team came to my place, they asked me the questions, walking through it all over again got me emotional, but I didn't see the post-production. And usually I'm like, I gotta see it, I wanna see how this story plays out. So this is like all news to
You know
me.
what? We are all, excited. I can see right now that our all is cool. And I, for one, as a woman, and as an African especially, because I know women that go through these kinds of things, like you rightly said, no one speak about it. I particularly come from an environment whereby you just check it up. You understand? You just check it up and
Or pretend it goes away.
or things like that. And for you group of women to step forward, take this post is very, very inspiring. After this, do you intend to continue in this conversation to ensure that you're at the forefront, most especially for Filipino women?
Yes, I guess this is sort of my initiative with the Filipino Speak Out Canada. And my intention for this year with the Filipino Speak Out is for education and there's so many things we want to do, but we can't expect things to happen overnight. These things take time. Mindsets have to be changed. We have to reach out to people. So I think for this year, I would say that it's just about my campaign of support, reaching out to Filipino women and different groups saying, hey, we're here, what do you need? These are the resources. Did you want to talk about it? Do you need peer support? Do you need workshops? We started doing that, but there's a lot more work to do.
Thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward to hearing your story.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. On my red carpet tonight, I'm going to comment your friend. That is really nice to meet you. Are you one of the members of inequality? That is wonderful. Share your story or what I'm just overwhelmed, to be surrounded with inspiring women as yourself, because I know it must have been a process. Just can you share with us briefly opening up yourself for this documentary? How did that feel?
I think it's really important when something happened to me, and I've been able to process it. I've been able to and now I'm on the other side. So I'm one of the priorities. I have a husband and I've been able to define myself by not just what happened to me, but really who I am.
Continue with this conversation with women, and men, because I do know it's not just only about women. You tend to continue with this conversation, encouraging to speak about this, to help in their healing process.
I believe that it's very important to continue the conversation. It's not just one moment in time where everyone is ready to tell their story and for them to share and learn and grow with one another. So I think that it's not just today, it's tomorrow, it's the next day. I have a 9-year-old boy, a whole week boy, around with a wife, you know, and I need to be the best strong woman for him to also have respect for me. I have a 14-month-old baby girl, and so they need to know that their mother is a survivor, but it's also not just about being a survivor, it's being about being a thriver. We are strong, we are in control of our own destiny, so the next day and the day after that has to be about the future, not the past.
No, that is wonderful. The next day and the day after that has to be about the future. I like that. I definitely something like that because it's giving women, especially the young women, hope that okay, even if you're going through this, it's safe for you to fall. Because I've heard something in particular that I've heard tonight is women that is that they were afraid to share, they were afraid to speak up. Was that the case in your own situation as well?
So, for me, I'm an advice columnist as well. I am a certified life coach. So I write about different situations. I answer questions. So as an advice columnist, I share my own personal experience. So I did have someone, write in and tell me about their situation. And so I did share what happened to me as a child. And so I wanted them to know that there was somebody else out there that was listening, that was caring, that was going to be there for them and support them. So I think that through that process, I was able to deal with what happened to me. And when I took part of this documentary, it was about the word that you used just a while ago, hope. This isn't about what happened. It's about, for me, it's about where I'm at in my life right now. And I'm a strong, independent, proud woman. And I am like to lead by example too. I coach a number of young women, and particularly women of color. So they look up to me and say that, okay, I can be a woman as well. She's gone through stuff. Everybody goes through stuff. But if she can move forward and be the best version of myself, then they can also be the best version of themselves.
You know what? You're very inspiring women. Each and every one of you are very, very inspiring. You're very courageous because I know this takes a lot I mean, because it opens you up. You're like an open book. People see you. And the bits that like the bits of the trailers and things, I feel like I said, I'm working in that journey with you. And have you seen any part of the documentary at all?
We've seen the trailer. At the press release back in March, I believe, we were shown the trailer, so I've seen that. And I've seen the first part of that as well. And that's about it. So this is the first part.
Thank you so much for being here tonight, which I am super excited about. Hi,
Hi.
Shelly. How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, take a deep breath. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it's been a hectic evening, but I'm excited.
You know what? I'm not going to take your time because I know the movie is about to start.
Yes.
The shooting of this movie, how do you feel right now?
Well, it's just full climax. I've seen it, cried a bit, so I need the audience to see it now and tell me about it after. But it's a very powerful, powerful documentary, and it's set up to do what it's going to do. It's going to change lives, and this is a testimony of these ladies and how they want to impact other women to speak out and speak up about their situation. So this is going to go across country, overseas, everywhere, because these problems are happening everywhere. So it's very impactful, and abuse hurts.
Yes, it does.
And so we have to start the conversation.
Thank you so much, Shelly, for your time. I know you have to go in and do a brief keynote
Yes.
there right now. So we're looking forward to seeing the movie, and
Yes.
afterwards we're still gonna have a good interview with you.
Yes.
Still, right? Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so that was Shelly. The movie is about to start. Hi Fiesta, how you doing? I see Deji here. Umar, I know there's been a lot of people there. So yeah, we're gonna start the documentary in a little bit. It's a little bit crazy here right now, but it's okay. I'm still gonna come back later to let you know how the documentary went. So have a good evening, everybody.